the quaint little villages and the history and flowers everywhere. She waved her hand at the verge and hedge bank. Philip suddenly noticed the April profusion of primroses, violets, celandines, and stitchwort, hitherto unobserved. "But gee," the girl continued, sounding quite regretful, "I mustn't keep you from your tinkering. The truth is, I'm kinda lost. The signposts all point to places I don't want to go. Can you direct me to the main London road?" Philip opened his mouth to say, "Second to the right and straight on till morning," or whatever the directions were, when he was struck by a brainwave. At least, he rather thought it might be a brainwave. The Honorable Phillip Petrie was not sufficiently acquainted with the bally things to be quite sure at first sight. In fact, he was all too accustomed to being regarded by family and friends alike as a bit of a chump. Still, it did look awfully like a brainwave. "It's rather complicated," he lied. "From here to the London road. If you're not in a frightful hurry, if you wouldn't mind waiting a few minutes, you could follow me." The girl's dazzling smile made him blink. "What a swell idea!" she exclaimed. Much heartened, Philip produced the second part of his inspiration. "I don't know about you," he said recklessly, "but I'm getting jolly peckish. It's nearly tea time and there's a frightfully good little tea shop in Purley. Do you think you might consider joining me for tea?" "Golly gee, I'd love to," said the wonderful girl. "We don't have anything like the English afternoon tea, but when I get home I'm surely going to keep it up. I'm Gloria Arbuckle, by the way." She held out her hand. "Phillip Petrie." Shaking hands, he frowned. "You shouldn't accept invitations from strangers, you know, Miss Arbuckle. Come to that, your father shouldn't let you drive around the countryside alone. What if you broke down?" "I'm supposed to take Papa's assistant with me," she admitted. "But he was busy, and on the first fine day in ages, I wanted to get out of that smoky city. As for the invitation, it's not like you asked me to go drinking and dancing in some speakeasy. You don't even have speakeasies over here." "No," said Philip, rocked by another brainwave. "But we have jolly good dance floors, perfectly respectable, and I'd be most frightfully bucked if, one of these days, you'd go dancing with me." "We'll see," she said, but she smiled. "What ho, old thing?" At this unceremonious greeting, Daisy looked up in annoyance from her second-hand Underwood. She had assumed the footsteps in the hall were someone calling on Lucy, who shared the Bijou residence with her. "Oh, it's you, Philip. What do you want? I told Mrs. Potter I can't see anyone. I'm busy." "She said you were just writing," Philip said defensively, dropping his grey Homburg hat on the desk. "Just writing? I'll have to have a word with her." "Well, perhaps I put the just in. No need to rag the poor old dear." "For heaven's sake, Philip, writing is how I make my living, and I've 2 articles due. I keep forgetting to allow for how long the post takes to New York. The American magazine pays jolly well, and I don't want to risk losing the work by being late. So unless you've got something urgent to say—" "Not exactly urgent, but it won't take a minute, honestly." With a diffident gesture, Philip smoothed his sleek, fair hair. His conventionally good-looking face bore such an appealing look that Daisy gave in. "All right," she sighed. "Let's hear it." Perching his loose-limbed frame on the corner of her desk, he swung a long leg, clad in pinstripe trousering, and contemplated the well-polished tip of his shoe. She swiveled her chair to face him. "Well," he said, a faint flush creeping up his cheeks. "It's like this. Philip, get a move on." "Yes, well, dash it, this is a bit difficult, old bean." "Is it necessary?" "I should ruddy well think so. A proper cad I'd look if I didn't. You see, the thing is, I say, Daisy, you know I've proposed to you once or twice." "At least half a